living deliciously on the Late Late Horror Show.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Late Horror Show.
Scared
What
the
is
crap
going
out of
on? Sorry, Ted's down there while the thing's going. But anyways, hey, what is going on? Here
How's
we go.
it going?
How's it going, kiddos? We have another folk horror movie here.
That's right. This is our
The Witch.
fourth venture into my second favorite horror genre. After the gothic horrors, I like the folk horror genre.
Yes,
So
yes.
our
It's
fourth sojourn.
The Witch, 2015, a New England folktale. That was the original title. Then they brought out it
Perhaps
was just
they'll
the
do
witch.
some folk dancing.
It was the folk, really, yeah, like Midsommar. You know what? This I have to say, this movie was kind of sad
He was scared.
and depressing,
Oh, I loved it.
and
I
kind
think
of.
it had a happy ending.
It was kind of. I'm not going to go in depth
Would
about.
you want to live with all those clowns your whole life?
Oh, you mean at the beginning?
Oh, yeah. You want to live with all those
At the
people?
beginning, yeah.
The end was the best part.
Travis Johnston in the YouTube chat. What's going on? Nice to see you. We'll see if everybody's watching Biden and Trump tonight.
Oh, my God. Are you still undecided? You're still wobbling.
If you're there and not here, there's something wrong. But anyways, this movie kind of, it was sad and depressing and kind of triggered things from my childhood. And I'm not going to go...
I didn't realize you grew up so puritanical.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not going to go in depth on why it triggered some things. But yeah, this, oh my God.
Everybody keep goading him in the chat. Keep asking.
Yeah. Goat me.
Come on, tell us.
But I'll say this. This was a fantastic film. Robert Eggers wrote and directed this film.
Yep.
And he took it basically from of course, New England folk tales, some of the actual Salem witch trials, some journals, actually used some of the wording and stuff like that.
A lot of the dialogue came direct from those sources.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn authentic. And even some of the extras on the Blu-ray, I mean, they have, they did a screening in Salem.
Yeah.
And, had some of the experts there and saying, it's pretty damn authentic, Usually I watch a movie like the one guy said, usually I watch a movie like this, and at the end I go, it was good, but why was this, and he's like, I couldn't do that this time. I mean, it was pretty spot on. And this is the same guy that did the newer film, The Lighthouse, which has been pretty popular. I watched it. It's okay. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as The Witch.
Oh, hell no. I enjoyed The Lighthouse too.
I wouldn't sit anywhere near a month with Willem Dafoe. Not if he's talking like that.
No.
Screw you, bitch boy.
Yeah. No, I tell you what. Out of a lot of very authentic, but with the tone of the movie, the look, just a very sad and depressing movie. Up until doesn't mean it's not a great film. I thought this was an excellent film.
The end was very uplifting.
The ending,
nothing but smiles,
which we'll get to a little bit, but was fantastic. I'd say there's the one scene at the very end is probably the best scene in the movie for me, and we'll talk about that down the road here a little bit. Because it had all the
nudity in it, and you like those old women.
They didn't show no nudity.
I know, but you like those old women. Yeah, you like the older...
80, 90,
Yeah, about
not
that.
Not
bad, the sagging here and there, the rolls.
But let's see, we got Thomason, who's the girl that you see on all the pictures.
Yes, fantastic little actress.
Yeah, who goes in and out of the, is she a witch, isn't she a witch, and, the whole movie revolves around that.
Just goes to show, man, back then, all you had to do was just point a finger at someone you didn't like.
Right.
And that was it. You're done.
Bring the council, and let's
call on Matthew Hopkins.
Let's tie some bricks to them and throw them in the lake.
That's right. If they sink, they're not a witch. If they float, they're a witch. And that's it. Your life's done.
No, I know.
What a miserable.
Well, that's why how many people died during the Salem witch trials.
You're not allowed to say Holocaust, but yeah, it was practically throughout Europe and America.
Pretty much a Holocaust.
There's not even good numbers of probably how many died.
And it was by one person, most of them, right? Who was the guy that did it? Do you remember that? We talked about that. Who was the guy that killed most of the people during that period of time?
You're not talking about our Witchfinder General, the Vincent Price movie.
Yeah.
I just mentioned his name, Matthew Hopkins. That was his...
Yeah, Matthew
He
Hopkins.
did a lot of them. He was responsible for a lot.
But, so you got Thomason, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who's a fantastic actress. Then you got William...
The father.
Who's the father. You got Catherine, the mother, the old...
She's a little gaunt.
She's Puritan mother.
She's had better days.
Well, she's given birth to plenty of child, and that wears the hell out of you. And back in the day of Pilgrims and New England and that...
What a miserable life. My daughter watched this movie.
So many things, I
don't think she enjoyed it as much as I did, because, some of the dialogue is a little thick with the accent and the old way of speaking.
Yeah.
The these and thous and all that. But you really get a taste of early. This takes place in 1630.
Yeah.
And that's, not too much long after we first landed there.
Right.
And the Pilgrims, and just what a miserable existence.
I know, man.
It's amazing that this country became what it was. Or what it is from that.
Yeah, from where it started.
Just how miserable these forts and the
the mud, the dirt,
horse shit everywhere, Indians,
mosquitoes, lice,
everywhere, bugs,
Indians, yeah.
And not to mention puritanical living,
right?
Which the funny thing at the beginning of this movie is that the Puritans aren't Puritan enough for this one motherfucker, William.
Right.
It's like, you guys aren't even Puritan enough. No, we're leaving.
Yeah.
All right, because we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it hardcore.
The movie starts out with the other actors and actresses in here. The other main person is Caleb, the younger boy, who's the brother of Thomason, who does an excellent job too. Kind of. Oh my God! When he was on the bed, and we'll talk about it, freaked me out. But anyways,
then there's the twins.
Yeah,
weren't twins singing some kind of evil thing back then? I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
But Jonas and Mercy.
Jonas
twins.
and Mercy, and that kind of rounds out.
And the mom is pregnant. She'll have the baby when after they've moved away.
And then you got the witch, who we'll talk about. In the movie,
there is actually a witch.
There is, and Ted's got he's got some idea where it could possibly, even though we don't think so.
It's what makes it a good movie, is that there's a couple different ways you can take away from it, and and it's purposely there for that reason. And so it starts off, they're having they're at court, whatever. The settlement elders are like, you're out of here, we're going to shun you. And it's all like...
Well, they gave him the option, didn't they?
Well, he was out either way. Unless he apologized, and he wasn't about to.
No.
Y'all aren't puritanical enough for me. I'm not staying with you. I'm out. You'd have us, shun you, or we're like, I'd be glad of it. That guy was in Game of Thrones, wasn't he? He and the wife, I think, were both in Game of Thrones, because he's got a voice.
I think the wife was...
She was the one, the sister that lived in the the kingdom that was up high there.
Yeah, with the hole in the thing.
The weirdo son, and like to just throw people out the hole.
Yeah. No.
And that other guy, I'm pretty sure he had to be in Game of Thrones, because he's just got the perfect voice for it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Put a sword in his hand and just... spout that kind of dialogue. No, I get it. So they leave with their, on their two-wheeled wagon, not even a four-wheel wagon.
Yeah.
And that's a really, that's even just such an authentic scene, too. You don't see anything. They're just out in the middle of the wilderness. And authentic
to the core. You can't... And that's the thing. I mean, I don't know the budget of the movie, but
not much.
Doing everything on the cheap and making
all
it
that
as
stuff was
realistic.
built for real.
Yeah.
Real thatched, like when they finally settle down on the edge of a dark, spooky forest. Perfect spot.
Right.
They build a house, and it's like a thatched roof, and they don't. There's not a lot of people that know how to do that anymore.
Right,
And they pulled a guy. They filmed a lot of this in Canada, or most of it in Canada.
Yeah.
But they made sure that the trees that were growing in the area would have been growing. I mean, it's all that kind of area there.
Yeah.
And they found a guy out in Massachusetts, still knew how to do it. And he, made the thatched roofs, and everything was real.
Yeah.
And they tried to make it all as authentic as possible, and it really sucks you in.
No, it does, because of the realism of the film.
And you like when they get to and they're all holding hands, and
finally we found the
Jesus
spot.
wants us to be.
Yeah, this is where we want to be, and you can see the bugs flying around a bit. I'm like going,
God,
my God, that's where they want to set up
this marsh.
But most of the country, you got swamps in Florida, but at the time, we had forest from coast to coast, and that's pretty much the way. Our country was.
I try to tell my kids, they're like, this is 400 years ago. This is it. Yeah. And what we're going to find is that each of these characters, in a way, have their own little sin that they're carrying with them.
Yeah. Well,
that leaves them open.
They all carry
to
sin.
This evil that's going to invade their lives and break the family apart from within.
Yeah.
And what?
No, I'm just.
Yeah. That's okay. We're here talking.
No, I know. It's
So we've got William.
Yeah.
Obviously, his sin is going to be pride.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
because he couldn't bear to, apologize, to change his principles for the greater good of his family and the community.
I'm loving this. I'm listening too, because this is Ted's going deep here. I get that. Yeah,
and then
pride.
Early on, we after the homestead is built, we have Thomason praying.
Yes.
And she's saying, "Forgive me. I've been neglectful of my chores. I've just been disobedient.
Yeah.
I've broken all your commandments in either thought or deed."
Yeah.
So she obviously is not a good Puritan.
No.
Not that she's a bad person, but this kind of life, like
to the standards.
If she had a chance to
Puritan, and
get
religion,
a nice dress and go to New York City and live it up, I think she'd go.
Oh, she would.
All right.
I think she saw.
And there was
to the
I
devil,
believe there. I don't even know if there was a New York City back then. But if she could jet off to London or something like that.
New York City. Wasn't there New York City? The Pilgrims. New York City. We're right there. Yeah.
Is not for her.
No.
And she, and there's some scenes. It starts off when there's a scene when she's sleeping and getting some water at the river. Or the brook, that her younger brother Caleb, who's getting to be a man, getting to be that age, steals a quick glance at her bosom, and quickly looks away. And I think she kind of catches him at the brook.
At the brook, she does, yeah.
And she brings him over, and she's resting her head on it. She gives him a little tickle, and he goes right for the boob, trying to tickle by the boob.
Yeah. But his first glance was when they were sleeping in the cabin, when he's
getting ready to go do his chores.
She's tossing and turning, and you could kind of see the bosom from the side.
So a little bit of lust there.
Yeah, a little bit of lust. Yeah.
A little sinful thinking there.
Yes.
And the twins, even though they're children and don't really, it's not that they have sin, but they spend an inordinate amount of time with the family goat, this black creature named Black Phillip.
Black Phillip, yeah.
And that's going to leave them open.
Phil's Creepy Videos, what's going on? Nice to see you here in the YouTube chat, buddy.
Get in here. You all don't want to watch those debates or anything like that.
We are talking The Witch on a debate night again, so who gives half a crap?
I'm going deep. I'm analyzing it as one would analyze Moby Dick.
We do this Tuesday night no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's on.
But you were saying the two kids, Caleb and Jonas.
They, first of all, they look like little monsters. I mean, there's even a scene later on where they're tied together and then tied to the fence. I mean, I thought those child leashes were something relatively new.
No. Tie him up with ropes.
And so that's, I don't know what sin I would associate with the mother. I mean, she certainly, she thinks the worst of her daughter. You know,
he spotted Castle Freak on the table.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, he's there.
Did that movie ages ago.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure if there's like a one of the deadly sins you can associate with the mother.
Yeah.
But she is a little shrewish.
Yeah.
Definitely seems to think the worst of her daughter.
But I get where you can kind of see some sins in each of the characters, or some of
the main characters. I mean,
but
it's you only need that opening. The devil only needs that little opening to get in.
Right.
So they're trying to build a farm, raising corn, because here in America, in that area, almost any area except for maybe arid desert, maybe even there too, corn you can grow just about anywhere.
Right.
That's the cool thing about corn. Corn grows everywhere. That's what they're growing.
Yeah.
And this is just the beginning of a farm. I don't think they don't have a milk cow. They don't have, wheat fields or anything. Nothing that. Basically, right now they're growing this food to survive.
Right, and are they technically even growing much of anything? I think the whole movie and the premise of the movie is that they've been cursed.
Mm-hmm.
The land is cursed. Everything's cursed, and
he's not necessarily a farmer. Yeah. We don't know what he did for a living in that. Whatever they call it, the village. Whatever. Yeah, they didn't call it a village. They called it something else.
They didn't say what he
plantation did? Or something. No, so he may not even necessarily be a farmer.
Yeah.
Not everybody farm. About the only thing he's really good at doing is chopping wood. And that's why they show him doing it about 3 times.
Chop wood!
Chop wood. The man is great at chopping wood.
He's good at
He
chopping
can't hunt.
Wood. No.
He can't shoot a damn gun.
No, he can't.
So I don't think he was much of one... to be doing farming, hunting, things like that. He obviously did something
Dave.
else.
DTN2 horror. What is going on, my friend?
All right, back in that ass.
Nice to see you in there.
Talking the witch.
Again, I mean, I don't know what's going on except the debate, maybe. But thank you for stopping by. Me and Ted are going to talk anyways.
That's
so,
right, because it gets me out of the house.
But what happens with... Let's go to one of your theories on the movie with the corn like that you brought up.
And maybe not so much, my theory, as the director even put it out there.
Yeah.
Is...
the corn.
Well, I guess before I get to it.
Okay.
Let's make sure we set up this instance here.
Okay.
They have another child, Sam.
Yes.
And Thomason...
Not for long.
Thomason is asked to, babysit for a second. I guess mom's got to go do something.
Yeah.
And she's just playing, out in the backfield. Not too, kind of... You see the edge of the forest there.
Right.
Nothing to be afraid of.
No.
And she's just playing a simple game of peekaboo, and the baby's just so cute and chubby. I love it.
Like, she's technically like just a foot away from the baby's face.
And literally, peekaboo. And like after the third peekaboo, baby's gone. It's in the trailer. Everybody's seen it. Everybody knows it.
And it's nowhere to be seen.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on there?
My boy's on there. My
Red
boy's
Rum.
in the chat.
Red Rum Records is here too. Beth. Hey, Ted and Dino. Hi, David. What is going on? Yeah. Woohoo. Where's the party going on in there?
Right.
And Liam, what's going on, bud?
Boy, you should be hitting the hay soon. You can stay up for a little while.
You get to sleep, buddy. But yeah, the baby disappears.
When she looks up, you just see a little bit of like one of the trees moving a little bit.
Been loving your stuff on Red Rum Records, Beth. Excellent.
And, you don't see them searching for the baby. You just know that some time has passed. The mother's...
when that happened, though, I'm like going... And she looks all around.
And you do see the witch, in the woods carrying the baby.
Sandra Walker, what is going on?
There we go. Now
she says, hi, Ted, not Dino.
That's right.
Hi, Ted.
Hi.
Yeah.
Nice to see you in the chat.
Thanks, Sam.
Don't worry about Dino.
No, I'm fine. But no, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. No, when I saw that, I know it's a witch that took the baby and can, pass, along quickly without you seeing her. Whatever happened, I don't know. But I'm like, how the hell did she get by that fast?
But
I mean, she's a witch, so yeah.
And then there's the difficult scene to watch with the baby there.
Well,
the old hand,
The witch, you get the next glimpse of the witch with the baby in her cottage, and It's a very disturbing scene.
And I'm glad they didn't go tacky and go gory on it. You know, not... less was definitely more.
Tacky and gory.
I mean, they just showed, putting the blade close to the baby.
But...
And then
the next scene,
the churning scene.
You get the churning scene, which is basically a big butter churn type thing or whatever the witches used, where she's grinding up
using the
baby.
Fat. Using the fat to make what they call witches ointment. And it would be mixed with lots of other things. Some of them, psychedelics. And
rubbing it all over her body.
They would rub this all over their body and all over their riding stick. And
I got a riding stick.
And I love the scene. You see the moon, and you can see that it is the witch on the stick going out.
Yeah,
and it's very blurry. And you look, you see that's exactly what it is.
Oh yeah,
and that's a real thing. They would witch's ointment. They would make that, and children were a very good ingredient to have for those.
Yes, very. Yeah, that witch with the witch going back from behind like that. It was very cool. It was reminiscent of your old cartoons of witches maybe back in the day or whatever.
I've not seen no cartoon where they're grinding up babies, but
not that.
But then there's the whole thing of the witch on the broomstick. It wasn't necessarily a broom; it's just a stick.
Right. Yeah.
That's it all comes from something.
And she reminded me of the witch from Suspiria, the newer Suspiria movie, because the witch must be a very old witch, because she looked similar to the witch down there. What's her name? That was down in the
Helena Marcus.
Well,
they were all older. They'd all seen better days.
Oh, saggy as heck, and
the way you like them.
Wrinkly, saggy. Travis Johnson, rub it on the riding stick.
That's right, and that's what they show her doing, laying on the ground and rubbing it on there.
Yeah.
And it does help to kind of look up. I mean, you can kind of glean what they're doing, but it is from a real thing, called witch's ointment. And
once again, very authentic.
That's what I'm saying.
So there goes the first baby.
That's what's happened to the baby. And time has passed. For instance, Caleb gets up in the morning. This is where we're getting to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And this is where he catches that first glance of his sister's bosom. That's him opening himself up to evil. And he sneaks downstairs, hears his mother crying.
Yeah.
And goes out. The father's already awake. Man, poor kid's waking up before the cock crows, too.
Well, you got to get up and do your chores, man.
Yes. And the father's out there.
That's why I think most of the people only live to be 12. No. But
this is the scene you wanted me to refer to, where the father's holding some corn. It looks a little rotted.
Yeah.
You're getting an idea that this...
Like Puritan teeth.
Like that this family may not survive. He's telling Caleb we're going to go out in the wood.
Sorry. It rubs the ointment on its skin, else it gets the
hose
stick again.
It rubs the lotion on itself. It does this when it is told.
Yes.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
But you get that glimpse of the corn.
He mentions,
it's rotted.
If, it's been like maybe 2 weeks, is like, your brother can't be alive, either wolves got him. That's what they think happened, that a wolf took him. Yeah. Or, he would have died of starvation anyway.
Yeah.
So he can't possibly be alive anyway.
Wait, you're talking about the boy now?
Well, this is what the father's saying to him.
Well,
they're having this conversation
about the corn.
While he's holding the corn.
Okay, got you.
And he says, we're going to have to go out in the wood and hunt, even though the mother doesn't really want any of them going out in that wood.
Yeah, it's a secret.
But he says to him, if we don't hunt, we're not growing enough to survive the winter.
Right.
All right, and you see it. You see
Nothing's
this corn,
growing.
It's all rotted.
Yeah.
And what's growing on it, and this is what he's wanting me to get to, is a fungus. And the director referred to this in, I don't know if it was interviews or commentaries or whatever, but it's a fungus called ergot, which is a hallucinogenic if you eat it.
Yeah.
Ergot.
No,
it's a real thing, grows on vegetables.
Yeah, got a jar of it
Imagine
upstairs.
if they were all eating corn that had this fungus on it, and this whole movie is just a big hallucination. I think that's kind of a cheap cop-out.
It's a cheap cop-out.
Watching it through, but it's there.
It's there.
And it's there for a reason.
And the director even talked about it. So whether that was a thought process in his head, who knows?
So that
But I tend to go with 5% that, 95%.
Yeah.
There's a witch out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking hopefully they were smart enough to pick that off.
Yeah. Wash off the corn before you eat that.
And as they're
everybody knew about fungus back in the day.
I don't know if they knew about it, but hopefully they had enough sense not to eat it.
I think they knew too. You know,
I don't know. How many Puritans are still around? I don't know.
I think we're all descendants from Puritans.
Not me.
Well, others. Yeah, no, you're right. Lots came over on the ship.
I don't think I got any English blood.
New York Harbor.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. So they are hunting, and
all that.
they find a hare out in the woods. Now, a rabbit, that was kind of seen as a little bit of an evil symbol back then, too. I don't know why. You would think it'd be a Jesus symbol because it reproduces and it comes around in the spring. I don't know. Easter bunny. I don't know why they looked on the bunnies so bad.
David in the YouTube chat does say seeing your first bosom for the first time really does change a young boy's life. So
yeah, you just got to try to make sure it's not your sister's.
No, that's true.
But
there's no one around.
For a lot of people,
there's no one.
I know
around.
there's no one. But for a lot of younger boys, that probably is the case. You know,
who's the first one you're going to see?
If you've got an older sister, that's usually who's you're going to see first.
Yeah, I mean, you would think yeah. Anyways, yeah.
But you know, he does it more than once, and that's it. That's that lust is.
Well, it's all about the sins through the whole movie, and that Puritan lifestyle, and how you're not supposed to think that way.
I don't know if it's considered a lifestyle, but.
Well, a religion, whatever.
Not once did anybody in that movie refer to it as a lifestyle.
Do you consider religion a lifestyle? I mean, when
consider it nonsense. There I go. I'm going to get people upset.
But for the people who do believe in the religion, I mean, come on.
I don't know. I take care of a lot of people that say that they hear things all the time.
Okay, we'll go past the religion part.
But they can't leave my facility, but all these other people can hear voices and talk to people who aren't there.
Onto them hunting. No, I get you. Onto them hunting.
I'm sorry. I work in a field dictated by science.
No, I hear you.
And
So that was.
But I'm still very interested in the whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
I have not been blessed with grace or faith or anything like that, and that's really what I feel like. I mean, people that really do believe, they obviously had to have some kind of experience, or grew up into it. I mean, Dog the Bounty Hunter had some kind of experience,
Yeah, no.
But what I'm saying is, I've never, if I experienced something that was, like maybe you've had things or whatever, that was just for me,
right?
Then. That'd be a different story.
Not everybody's
but I'd probably be
personal experience.
I would probably be very private about it. I probably wouldn't talk about it. If I was like a believer, I probably wouldn't.
I think everything's.
I wouldn't wear it out on the sleeve like these people.
Right. I think everything's questioned unless you really have something smack you hard and say, "Holy cripe,
wake up!"
So
as of right now, I'm open for business. I'm open for business, but as of right now.
Okay, so William and Caleb, they go off hunting. Yeah.
And I guess the only reason that I want to bring that up is there's some important conversation that happens in there that has to do with how they believe. And
which
for
half
instance,
of it you couldn't understand when Caleb was talking.
It's thick, all right? But I'll tell you what, the more you watch the movie, it just clicks. It's like reading Shakespeare. It clicks. And
you watched this 4 times in a row.
I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and I'd seen it once before, so I've seen it a total of 4 times.
Gotcha.
There's a concern of the child that his baby brother wasn't baptized, and Puritans are known to believe if you weren't baptized, it didn't matter how good of a person you weren't baptized, you weren't going to heaven. You would be banished to hell. And I don't know if he has been baptized or if he's been able to, he's like, if I die this day and I don't have my sins forgiven or washed away, what will happen to me? So I don't know. Puritans had a little bit of a different view on baptism, and I'm not really up on it. I don't know if it was kind of like you do it when you feel ready to join, or if they did it when you were a baby. It almost sounds to me like when you were ready to take your place as a active member of the church and community, that's when you did it.
Right.
Well, we're not trying to be wrong about that. Yeah. So the child has a lot of anxiety about this.
Right.
They're on the edge of nowhere, You know, they're probably like a day's ride from another human being.
Right.
And what if something
on
happens?
horseback?
Look how easy my brother got taken away. He's gone.
Yeah.
We have no idea what happened. Where is he?
Yeah.
And religion was really all what these people had. I mean, they just love the hell out of God.
Yeah, they did.
And
Yeah.
you know, when good shit happened, God made it happen. When bad shit happened, it was part of God's plan. You know, and you pray for God to change the plan, but He ain't changing the plan.
No, not for them.
That's what George Carlin said. It's a damn good plan, and it's working. And how dare you pray and try to change it?
Right. Yeah. No, it's
Paraphrasing some George Carlin.
yeah, no.
So
George Carlin had some
and the father's sympathetic
good
to him. You know, like you don't even have to worry about this yet. You're a young boy. You don't have to worry about this.
Right. Yeah.
And it's also revealed at that time that the father bought some hunting equipment, traps and whatnot, which didn't catch anything.
He used his Catherine's grandmother's silver chalice
as a family heirloom.
Yeah,
a silver
chalice, and
that would have been worth some money.
Through Indians he got it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Traded for some,
and I think he showed them it. You know, he's like
how,
and they said they were like how, and he said Robert Eggers told us he said William was standing there basically with that silver chalice. Every time they said how, he would go
like this,
like drink, drink, and they didn't get it, man. They just would not get it.
What are you gonna do?
Because they went and got true Aboriginals.
This is like Mel Gibson in Apocalypto with real Aborigines.
In the Appalachian Mountains, they found that tribe out there that has not.
It's like where my people come
seen
from. I don't remember
civilization.
seeing no Indians out there.
They're deep in the woods.
Where do you think my dad's family came from?
Deep in the woods, but different side of the tracks.
Oh, other side of the mountain.
Yeah,
other end of the holler.
These Indians, and I forget what they called them, Appalachians or something like that. They peeked at the white man, but never approached them, and always stood their distance, kind of like Bigfoot. And I mean, you don't see no Bigfoots, do you? So you don't see no Appalachians.
Is it big feet? Or
No.
Bigfoots?
Bigfoots.
Bigfoots.
Yeah.
I saw a Bigfoot one time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was two of them down by the river. They were butt fucking.
Oh, jeez. I saw a couple at the shoe store.
I'm kidding. You did?
Yeah.
Rooting through the dumpster and back looking for free shoes?
They were 4'11" and they had size 12 feet.
Be damned.
Yeah.
That's kind of like me.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not much bigger than 4'11".
Oh, jeez. What? What the hell are you talking?
I had one of my people at work today ask me how big my feet are kind of big, and they asked me what size shoe I wear. I go, yeah. Unfortunately, the rest of my body never. I said,
caught up to your feet.
I said, unfortunately, the rest of my body, except for my schlong, didn't catch up.
Oh my. Okay. How do we veer off?
He mentions that let's not mention this to your mother. I'll tell her when her grief is over.
Right.
And they're having dinner.
Scape it a sacred.
I don't know if it's that night or whatever. But,
is that a good Puritan accent?
What?
Let's cape it a sacred.
We'll not speak of this.
Oh.
Man, he's got such a grab. That guy should be like doing audiobooks.
Audiobook, yeah. Like that.
If I was that guy, what's his name? Ralph Ineson? I would speak like that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, I would too.
Like, this is the way I speak. We'll have none of this.
I'm made for walking.
So these boots were made for walking.
Man. Too much.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, no.
So they're having dinner, and another thing, kind of like
by candlelight,
kind of like
how
Barry
depressing.
Lyndon.
Yeah.
Which I don't think this is as big of a deal because it was a big deal when Barry Lyndon did it because they were special lenses, but it was all natural lighting.
Yeah.
Except for maybe a few scenes. All natural candlelight, for the scenes. So real candlelight.
And I think they used Barry's Linden too for the
Barry's Linden
for the table.
And sure as shit, the mother notices that the chalice is gone, and she immediately asks Thomason, the daughter,
that the daughter was blamed for everything.
I saw you trifling with it.
I saw you trifling with it.
And she's like, I've not seen it.
You took it, you're a witch.
And the father's just sitting there letting this daughter get ripped out because
he keeps looking up, real quick with his eyes,
Ripped out. He's feeling. She said she not seen it, and And,
I mean,
he feels bad, but she's taking the brunt for it.
I tell you what, for as much as, everything going on, and you would think this father is just a badass, a hard ass and stuff. He's not.
No.
He's pretty,
loves his kids. Feels bad.
Yeah.
Because he brought them into this. This is all his fault.
Yeah, and all of that sin... If you call it sin, I don't know.
Well, that's what's going to come out later when he's having his breakdown.
Yeah, it's kind of on him. So yeah.
And they make up some excuse when they get back why they were in the woods in the first place.
Caleb says
Caleb kind of saves the day.
Orchard.
Thought he saw an apple tree in the valley. In the
valley, I saw an apple orchard, Father.
But it wasn't there. Something like that. So
I thought it was an apple, but it was a peach. And she said, "A peach? You should have brought home the peach."
And in the meantime, the daughter...
And the father, William, said, "You could have made peach cobbler." And Caleb said, "No, we didn't have enough room in the wagon." And Catherine says, "Well, why wasn't there enough room in the wagon?" "Why wasn't there enough room in the wagon?" She said. And Caleb says, "Oh." And William said, She did. Caleb he's fanciful in his thoughts and his processes.
What are you telling her fantasies for?
Yeah.
That's sense.
And Catherine said, she goes, "Oh, so you did take out the wagon?" And William said, "I did not take out the wagon. These are little tales that he's telling." And Caleb went and took a bath.
I'll be damned.
So
I didn't see these parts.
Yeah, I mean, and Thomason just stood in the back. With her
she's getting yelled at for not taking care of the twins.
Right.
They won't mind me.
No, they're chasing after
that damn Black Phillip.
Look, I lost them all.
I know.
I tell stories. Sorry.
I'm trying to keep up.
Paige Frederick, what is going on? What's up? Maybe our tangents just aren't working.
Your tangents. My tangents are good.
I tend to, try to have some fun here. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think now.
You are. They came back.
So there's a conversation. There's like the mom and dad having the conversation at night.
Yeah. In
the bed. And this house isn't small enough to have a conversation like this without scaring the hell out of all your children.
Let me say the three people here, you might want to check out May Contain Nuts. It's a different YouTube channel. We may be over there real fast.
That's where we do old comedies.
Yeah, old comedies like Abbott and Costello, Groucho Marx, and all that good stuff. Lauren Hardy's. But anyways, go on.
Excuse me. You my 12 hours today. Excuse me. I'm entitled to a yawn.
Sound like Homer Simpson there.
Oh!
I did my 3 hours.
Yeah, I did my 12 hours with my Looney Tunes. Yeah. And so they're having the conversation, and the mother is, Catherine is... Basically, in a nutshell, we're going to starve. We're going to die.
Yep.
And Thomason's coming into her womanhood. I think maybe they're just coming to odds. Having 2 women.
Yeah.
Because, you get more than 2 women together, they can't be friends.
Yeah, their pheromones are interacting.
And so they're talking about sending her to kind of serve another family.
Because they only got 1 sheet for the bleeding of the uterus.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Yeah. and
so they're talking about sending her out.
Share it.
Sending her out.
So.
And, well, that certainly doesn't make her feel very good. My family doesn't even want me.
No.
And that's going to open her up.
It's quite sad.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
So.
I feel sorry for it.
I think this is what gives Caleb the idea. Why am I drawing a blank here? Why he wakes up early, like middle of the night, and he's going to leave. Yeah. I'm thinking, is he going to sell the horse and try to get some money to help save the farm?
Yeah.
So that she doesn't have to leave.
I can't remember.
Because he sneaks out. It's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever even actually say what he's doing.
I don't think they do.
No. Because I've watched it a bunch of times, and I think the idea is he's going to sell the horse, go back to the village, sell the horse, get some money, and just help out at home.
Should have just sliced up Black Phillip for the winter.
And you know what? In England, if you were a goat farmer, man, you were really looked down on, and goats were not cool. But we brought them here because they can clear a field in no time because they eat anything.
Oh yeah.
So that's why people had goats when they came here. Because
I grew up in greenhouses and fields all around there, and they would always have the billy goats in the fields to cut the grass. They eat.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
When I was a kid, we would go back there and pet them all the time, and they were friendly. Mm-hmm. And they had the horns, growing out of there and stuff.
Well, but that's actually why we had them here in the beginning, because they can clear a field pretty fast. Yeah. So it was, that's why they had a goat. Yeah. And you got milk from it.
Exactly. So, and cheese.
But
goat cheese.
Dairy products were not something, you could have milk. But Julio
on Sanford and Son, he would bring.
Oh, that's right. He had a goat.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't remember if they had the goat's name, but
goat.
It had a name.
It did have a name.
I can't remember.
Julio's goat was. Oh shoot. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
I remember that one episode of Sanford and Son. Wasn't he was like reading his will? He wasn't dying yet.
No.
But I think to Julio, I leave all the change you can find in the cushion of my couch.
Yes.
And to Rollo, I leave my knickknacks.
And Rollo would go, thanks, man.
Man, you old dude.
You all right. And then he'd say something really bad to him after that. Like
that's such a badass name, Rollo.
Rollo.
Man, nobody's except for the kid in the Cleveland show.
Right? Yeah.
Rollo.
What
a cool name.
Anyways,
go to
sleep.
So he and Thomason set out.
Take a nap.
Because Thomason kind of says, I'm going with you, or I'm taking. I'm telling Mom and Dad.
Right.
And what ends up happening is they see that rabbit. The dog chases after the rabbit. And the horse isn't really like a riding kind of horse. I mean, I don't think it's really used to having people on its back.
Yeah.
Because the second he lets go, the horse just throws Thomason, and they all get separated.
Right.
Lost in the woods.
And
we do see that Caleb comes upon the witch's hut. And it's not that ugly witch that comes out. It's this beautiful, sexy witch that comes out. Playing on... It's like she knows...
She's got the
lust.
She's got the red hood, like Little Red Riding Hood.
The long dark hair, and that's. Yeah, I'd have probably gone in that house. Almost like the witch in Conan the Barbarian. When he comes upon that witch's hut.
Yeah, except this is a beautiful lady, and
so is she at first.
Yeah, right.
And then in the middle of coitus,
and then she gets right up close to him. And then,
and then you see the old gnarled hand grab him.
Yeah, and it's grabs, bites on the side, which later when you see Caleb, he's got kind of like a bite mark kind of thing, like wounds. It's kind of funny.
Thomason gets found. Her dad don't look like he got too deep into the woods, but she finds her father. And later on...
The goat was Chico!
Chico. Oh. Okay, probably right. Yeah.
Thank
probably
you.
Something like that.
Thank you, Beth. Yeah,
Thank
Chico.
you.
Yeah, Chico.
What other show was that guy? He was on another show.
He would always go in his chips. Gets Fred's chips. Julio?
He was on another show.
Oh, I can't
What's
remember.
the other show back then that he was on?
Julio was also on... Not Barney Miller.
No, not Barney Miller.
I can't remember.
Damn it, he was on something
You got to
else.
give me a few, man, on this. Continue talking. Let's see. Okay,
but,
so...
Caleb does make his way back. It's raining. It's a rainy evening. She forgot to tie down the goats or feed the goats, so she goes out there. She's the one who finds him. He's bare-ass naked.
Yeah,
which they find to be suspicious later on.
Well, he's outside the cabin.
Yeah, he makes his way back home.
Yeah, he made his way back home. Yeah.
Bare-ass.
Yeah.
It can't be good.
Man, I should have brought a yoo-hoo over here.
You want to swig of my water?
No, sorry. DTN Horror, 2 Horror, Dave. Caleb's Seduction, the soundtrack to this movie, is very good. Yes. It really adds to the atmosphere of the movie.
You know what they use?
That's another thing.
It's something called a water glass.
Yeah.
It makes that squeaky sound, that really eerie sound.
Yeah.
You can look it up. It's just a. They use it in a lot of soundtracks. You hear it in a lot of soundtracks,
especially newer horror.
And
you get that a lot.
It's sparse.
Maybe Wrong Turn. Did they use some of that in Texas Chainsaw? I don't know. A little.
It's been around forever, but that one that makes that distinctive noise that you keep hearing. And sometimes there's some, like, wasn't there like some chanting and stuff like that? I mean,
I think so too.
Very, it just.
I think that was the
perfect,
witches, though.
Perfect for the atmosphere.
I think that was the witches.
And we haven't said as much about the cinematography, the photography.
Cher ended up playing the witch in this. Cher. Yeah, she was a witch of Eastwick too.
I'll be damned. I forgot about that Eastwick.
Yeah.
Isn't that where they settled down in this movie? That became Eastwick later on.
Right.
Eastwick, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So Caleb, when he comes back, he's all messed up.
And this is the part
dead.
that really gets me, man.
They've got him upstairs.
They put him in the room upstairs on the bed. Yeah.
He's not talking much, but when he finally does,
he basically, the first thing he does is just like start choking,
screaming in pain,
choking, and then like he's having a seizure.
Yeah.
And they go to get a wooden stick to try to pry it open, and I like how Catherine goes, "You might break his jaw," and all of a sudden
he might die.
Yeah. All of a sudden, an apple,
which would have been very symbolic for these Puritan people. Not only an apple, but an apple with a bite out of it.
Yes. That's exactly
what
it was.
The sin of woman.
Yes.
Barfed out.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was all women's fault, because men aren't stupid enough.
Oh, God.
It had to be a woman. Here,
Adam and Eve, here's the
apple. No, fuck up everything.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Fictional apple of a fictional tree.
Aye. But no. He spits out this little apple,
right.
and
then goes into this almost hallucinogenic prayer.
Yeah.
And it is taken from some actual source. The exact words that he's saying. Yeah, like he's seeing Jesus himself. My Lord, kiss me with your bloody lips and all this jazz.
Yeah.
And while he's doing it, and this is all done in one shot. He had to say all this shit at one time.
Yeah.
No cuts,
And this scene was done so well by
the muscle control, because he kind of sits up a little bit, but just using kind of like the top half of his torso.
Yeah.
Which probably had to take a little practice there, to kind of do that just right.
Yeah, the way he was jerking and then got himself up. And then
it's probably like the most intense scene.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he steals the movie.
Yeah, right there he does. Yeah, and then just it's got this grin on his face and falls back and dies.
And they're praying around him. And
a bunch of shit's going on.
We forgot big important part.
Real quick.
Go to the chat.
Heroic Waffles. He says, "Hey brothers, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely,
nice to see you in the chat."
One little part I forgot. Remember when they were back at the creek and he copped that look at her bosom?
Yeah.
This is the first time a witch is actually mentioned. Baby sister Mercy comes up and says, "I'm the witch of the wood. I'm the witch of the wood."
Yeah.
First time a witch is mentioned. It's that little girl that says it.
Yeah.
All right? No one said shit about a witch first.
Nope.
She did. Yeah. The one that's hanging around that goat all the time.
Yeah, that little brat.
And, the twins do not mind their big sister.
No.
And it seems like she's kind of put in charge of them a lot. And she kind of just says, "Yeah, I'm the witch of the wood. I stole the baby, and
I stole
dance
the baby.
naked with the devil at midnight." And all kinds of other crap like that. And basically, gets her down on the ground and says, "Don't you dare tell anybody that I said this, or I'll
eat you.
I'll eat you. You'll suffer the same fate. Yeah. I'll stick a finger in your eye, whatever."
Yeah. And stick a finger in your eye.
So obviously, Mercy kind of remembers this at this point.
Yeah.
And they start accusing Thomason of bewitching Caleb.
Right.
That all these things that she said, and of course, I mean she's denying it, and the father's like, "Well, you two were in the wood together. You lost him. You're the one that found him naked in the rain. All indecent." And
starts questioning.
So when they start to say their prayers, the kids won't do it.
Yeah.
They say, we forgot our prayers. I don't remember the words.
As they're around the bed.
And that was supposedly something that, a bewitched person, the witch could do to a person is make them forget their prayers.
Right.
And so they're blaming, just how cock and bull it all is. That, they think that it's her doing it.
Yeah.
And
so easy to tell a lie, and people believe it.
Right.
Back then.
And the father does have a moment with her outside that's very loving, I think.
Yeah.
But he still says to her, but you're still going to have your trial. You know, he's like, I know what I saw in my own house.
Yeah.
You know, and
how can you answer?
And that's when she kind of goes off on him, saying, you're the one that dragged us out here. You can't farm. You can't hunt.
Yeah.
You know, you let Mother rail on me when you took the cup.
Yeah, the cup.
And when you guys went out into the woods. And, you know, I overheard you say you're going to get rid of me. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know, you want to talk about truth? Tell me, you know, what the truth is.
Yeah.
And she's like, and you have 2 little children that all day play with that goat and let it, you know. I go, you know, black goat. It's right. That's Lucifer. He's whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
And that gets the father a thinking. You know, because prior to that, when they were upstairs, remember when the kids couldn't remember their prayers, they start rolling around on the floor, screaming whatever Caleb's saying, they're saying.
Right.
And it's like something out of Salem Witch Trials. Like if you watched, you know, or read The Crucible or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, evidently most scholars don't like the movie version. They said it's shit. But, you know.
Well, God damn them.
You know, they don't complain about this movie, though.
But yeah, he comes up into the cabin and starts. The kids are still laying on the bed like they're
like they're zombified.
Passed out
yeah,
still,
he
you know.
Just grabs them up there.
Yeah,
and then they wake up. That wakes their ass up. And
he's like blaming them.
So he doesn't know what to think.
Yeah.
So he just locks them all up.
I'm going to get a yoo-hoo.
In the sheep shed. Yeah. Nails it shut.
In the sheep shed.
In the sheep shed. and she's like, Father, you can't let me in here. It's not safe. It's dangerous in here. Oh my God, Dino's about ready to knock the whole damn camera setup over.
Oh jeez. Oh, how terrible.
Why don't you give some to your diabetic cat?
Oh, jeez.
How do you drink a warm yoo-hoo?
We got this. It's not warm. It's cold down here.
Hold on a second.
It's like a freezer.
All right. I got to digress.
Okay,
yeah, here,
don't touch it all over. You got COVID. Wear your mask.
I get tested every 5 days at my job. It is 85 degrees down here, and he says that's
85 degrees.
So is this what your family does? You don't put like your cans of soda or anything in the fridge. You just leave it down here.
No, I put it up there. But for you,
that's cold.
Yes, this is good. This is fine. Wow. Well, most of the stuff I drink is warm, anyways, and I don't mind it. Yeah, room temperature, I'll say. You know,
weird people.
Ted, it's cold down here, man.
We have such. It's like being with my wife, man. It's like, I mean, I know I'm a big guy.
Yeah,
I know I'm thick.
You're hot,
but
man,
you know, even when I wasn't, which wasn't, you know, there was a time.
When you wasn't.
There was a time I was in shape.
When you were 5 years old.
Yeah, back then.
That was in the honeymooners. Remember when Art would make fun of Ralph when he said,
"Hey, you Ralphie boy."
Ralph goes, "I remember my high school pictures." He goes, he laughs at him like, "Yeah, more like your baby pictures." But anyways,
I think I was cold once in '82. I really don't remember it. I'd like to feel what it's like again, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be cold. I'm always warm, man. Dead of winter, I'm warm.
Be nice. Nice.
Well, my winter coat is just a hoodie. I mean, it's all I ever wear.
I know. Shorts.
Yeah, I mean, in wintertime, I still come over here in shorts. If there's no snow, I'm still wearing flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yeah.
And even if there is some snow on the ground, I still probably might wear shorts. But it's just, if it's too deep.
Okay, so let's get this goddamn movie over with. All right,
let's get this over with because we got a Patreon video to do, too.
Yeah.
And look he's all excited.
Yeah.
So this is actually interesting. Now the movie starts getting a little juicy here, because
naked ladies.
Well, it's all breaking down now. So Thomason, Jonas, and Mercy are nailed up into the barn with Black Phillip and the other goat.
Nailed up.
And there's been some strange shit too. I mean, like when Thomason was going to milk one of the goats, he got blood.
Yeah,
that's pretty gross.
That is pretty gross. Yeah, what was the significance with that? With the blood coming out of the old tits?
Maybe that's the ergot.
Yeah, it could be.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the sign of
Thomason couldn't.
of the farm.
Maybe she was pulling on the teats just a little too hard.
You think that goat would have gave her the high side of that? It was a little too hard.
I mean, you know
how
what
the
I
Little
use?
Rascals get out of, in the Little Rascals, they use the vacuum cleaner.
right.
With the give and sucking the milk out.
Well, see, what you got to do is like me when I milk the cats. You use a little cow udder.
You milk your cats?
Yeah, you get cat milk.
This is like Dune. This is the part in Dune. It wasn't in the book, but it's in the David Lynch movie.
Dave Plouffe, what's going on, man?
About time.
Yeah.
Get on in.
Long time no see.
Get in that ass.
Yeah.
She even says to him, Thomason says it to him, does he really talk to you? They don't answer.
Hope you guys are all enjoying the old-time radio shows I've been putting out there.
They ain't listened to a single one of them.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And, says, are you bewitched? Or, are you?
Yeah.
But they never answer if Black Phillip talks to them. They never answer truthfully about it.
The kids, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, they are the first one to mention a witch.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter is. So... Well,
the devil has got to be in the two younger kids' ears.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that start sowing the seeds. They're the ones that bring up the witch.
Yeah.
Then,
that could
Thomason
be
says...
that Black Phillip is...
Right there.
In
that creates that seed of doubt. Because then she believes her. The rest of the movie, she kind of believes that she's the witch. And then when this happens to Caleb... Then she brings it up, and then all the family's starting to turn against each other.
Yep.
For instance, the father's
You know what
outside,
you call that?
What?
Turmoil. Yeah.
Drama. The father's out there chopping wood.
Thank you, Dave.
Chopping wood,
yeah.
and starts praying. Save my children. My family's falling apart. I did this. It was my pride.
Well, he's got them. Did you mention that he locked or nailed them?
Yeah, I did. In the sheep shed.
I'm losing it.
The mother, while she's sleeping, they're sleeping that night, and she wakes, and there's Caleb holding Sam.
Yeah.
And
another very interesting scene.
And here's where we get a little taste here, because
a little taste.
Well, because Caleb says she doesn't bite, but he says, "I have a book I want to show you."
You notice his voice too, though.
Yeah, a little different.
Little different voice.
And it's like we could come and visit. We could come visit you often. Would you like that? I have a book I want to show you. But then the baby starts making a little noise. She's like, "Oh no, here, give me the baby." And she wants to start nursing the baby,
suckling.
And then you see her later, sitting in a chair, and it's a crow just pecking at her teat.
Yeah.
And then later on when she's in bed, it's all bloody there. So it really, it's like it really happened.
Oh yeah. No.
So she didn't do the book, but while everyone's in the sheep shed, you do hear a little whoosh, and then something landing on the roof.
Right.
All right. And
it's the witch on the stick.
Right. And everybody, in the morning when they wake up. They see, they look outside. They see that the shed is demolished practically. Mm-hmm. The goat, Black Phillip's not there.
No, but the two other
sheep
goats,
and the other goats are dead.
Slaughtered.
And Thomason's laying there with blood on her.
Yeah.
And she's like, she came from the sky. We heard noises, and
the father, William,
right,
starts to come towards her, and
Black Phillip,
that goat, instantly, man, just charges.
Gores him.
Oh, the horn just goes straight in his gut. And just...
And I actually, in reading some of the extra stuff for the Blu-ray and everything, that goat was a pain in the ass to work with, evidently.
Oh, really?
That particular goat was
perfect.
A bitch.
The goat was...
I think even the scene, when they first come back from the woods and the father's kind of wrestling with it, putting it in, I think that just, happened.
Wow.
And he just kind of kept in character and did it.
Goats don't like to be messed with, man.
Foul creatures, aren't they?
They are.
I guess there's a reason why they're the symbol for the devil.
Yeah, they're foul creatures, all right.
And so the father died, the mother comes out. I mean, saying, the daughter, telling Thomason, this is all because of you.
Action
you did
picking
all
up
this.
here. Yeah. This movie flies by.
Trying to choke her out. And Thomason doesn't want to do it, but ends up having to defend herself, taking a trowel and basically killing her mother with it.
Yeah.
Obviously you can tell while she's doing it, she didn't want to do it. I mean, she's telling her she loves her while they're fighting. And
yeah, but I think she took that trowel to her and killed her a little too hastily.
She had her hands on her throat.
Yeah.
When someone puts their hands on your throat, I think something just clicks.
But have you ever had thoughts of that any other prior times in your life?
Me, no.
Well, I'm putting you on trial. You're Thomason.
Nobody's put their hands on my throat.
Has the devil ever come to you in the night?
I'm telling you. Somebody puts their hands on your throat or punches you in the jaw, shit just clicks.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Yeah.
So then, everybody's dead. The whole family's gone. And she goes into the bar. There's Black Phillip.
Yeah.
And she says...
I knew a Black Phillip.
You did,
Good friends, yeah.
And I love...
Introduced me to you.
I love this part of the movie. Because you don't see Black Phillip. You just see her talking to him.
Okay. Yeah. Now this is my favorite scene of the whole movie.
It is good.
Yeah, when she wakes up after laying on the table there, and it's morning. It's morning, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and walks out to the.
Or maybe it's midday, because she goes in the house and kind of falls asleep at the table and comes out. So maybe it's midday, before evening.
But when this takes place and she walks into where the sheep is...
I think it was getting close to dusk when she wakes up and goes into the barn.
Yeah, she basically takes... Well, go ahead.
Takes some of the bloody covered clothes off.
Yeah, and you hear a voice speaking.
Well, yeah, she says, speak to me, speak to me like you did, Jonas and Mercy.
Yeah.
And you don't hear anything at first. And then she's about to walk away, and you just hear that voice, "What dost thou wish?" Yeah. And then she opens it up, and she's like, "What can you give?" And that's good. That's good. It's not...
His voice was fantastic. The scene was just unbelievable.
When she says, "What can you give?"
Yeah.
She's open to it.
Well, because she's everything she's been put through, the life that she's lived.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder what would put you over the edge to sell your soul to the devil.
It says, "Dost thou want to taste butter?" And that seems a little weird. Yeah. But Dino and I were talking before the show, and I had to look that up.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the Reformation and things. Some of the Puritan ways of thinking. Yeah. That church frowned upon a lot of dairy products, butter, cheeses, things like that. They were considered, evil foods.
Yeah.
And in most of Europe, that was okay because they didn't use a lot of butter. They used oil or olive oil, like in Italy or something like that.
Yeah. From the fruits.
But then you get to places like France where all the farms are like milk farms. Yeah. Well, shit, we eat butter with every meal there.
Yeah.
And that was a big problem. So it was kind of like a penalty tax. Yeah, you could eat it, but you paid a penalty tax for it. Yeah. It was just, it wasn't something that... So that would have been something that she wouldn't have had. Wouldn't have had butter. They would use the milk, but not butter, not cheese, cream, things like that. Like rich foods, tempting foods. Too much pleasure in those foods, I guess.
Right.
And what does he say? Would dost thou like to live, something like that, deliciously?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
would you? I love that, deliciously.
Yeah.
And would you like to see the world?
Yes, and see the world, and slowly comes around her in darkness.
Oh, right.
You barely make them out.
And she said yes, and it's like do you see a book in front of you? And yes, and that's when you see. And it's really dark. The scene is really dark.
Oh yeah.
And this is Lucifer. This is the beautiful fallen angel. Mm-hmm. This is the devil. I mean, I love. Yeah, he's very Mediterranean looking, I guess. The goatee. He's not dark skinned, but darker. That cloak, the spurs. I thought that was such a cool touch.
Yeah.
Very cavalier. The spurs. and just
I got to tell the devil story from my grandmother that was passed down after this.
Says, I can't write my name. I will guide you.
Yeah.
And she allows him to do that. And then the end of the film is Black Phillip in goat form leading her nude through the forest to the witches' circle where they're having their Sabbath. And I'm pretty sure they have ground up all the fat from Jonas and Mercy. Because they got a lot of witches' ointment going on.
They got a lot of ointment.
And slowly they all start to rise. Mm-hmm. And so does Thomasin, and she's laughing.
Oh, the joy and the feelings
and
just come right out. Yeah,
the sad thing is, there's some people that might interpret this movie as she was a witch from the beginning. I don't believe that, but I think everybody pushed her.
Yeah.
And she finally became what everybody was accusing her of being. And it's kind of funny that everybody dies, and this poor girl, at this end of the movie, she finally is happy. She's finally got her wish. She's going to live deliciously and have powers and see
and
the
have
world.
Butter.
And
not margarine.
And it was the devil that gave her these things.
Yeah.
And all it costs is your soul.
Well, she'll pay for it in the end.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He just gets the soul.
But yeah, rises, and then, that's pretty much the end of the movie.
The tree, and it's so
fantastic.
Such a good movie. And actually, it's very similar in story to Hereditary, if you're a big fan of, like we are. Yeah. It's also about a child being kind of groomed to, play host to a demon, and there's some the family breaking apart.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities.
Right.
Totally different movies, but I kind of feel like if you like one, you'll like the other.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And just such a delicious movie.
I'd say out of all the folk horror, other than Blood on Satan's Claw, Wicker Man, I'd say Wicker Man's my favorite. Mm-hmm. Blood on Satan's Claw is probably second, and I'm not going to take anything away from like Midsummer because I love that film.
Yep.
But The Witch kind of is real close there. I
love
really
that
enjoyed
genre.
this movie.
And what makes it, and folk horror is folk horror was actually coined by Pierce Haggard, who directed Blood on Satan's Claw. He's the one who came up with that phrase, and there's lots of different movies that people put into the category of folk horror. Some of them are even Japanese samurai horror type films, and I get it. I guess the only thing is there has to be it's secluded. Yeah. You're in a secluded community of sorts, a secluded cluster of people, and whether there's something religious or supernatural or whatever going on, it's really character driven, and it's about just a group of people secluded and what happens. Yeah. When some kind of evil or madness ensues. Yeah.
Well, let me say hi to the Trash Picture Show, Marty. What's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by. She's going to be Furious in the Fury Road prequel. Cool. Okay.
I'm always down for more George Miller. I haven't read much about that. So she's going to be the younger Furiosa, which was Charlize Theron's character.
And he says,
I'm okay with it, not even having Mad Max in it, man. I love George Miller's view. Of the apocalypse.
Hell yeah. Yeah. If you're a fan of folk horror, check out A Field in England.
Now, I was reading about that film. Now, someone might have to correct me. I heard it gets kind of depraved and gory. I'll look into it, but I did read about that film.
Yeah, so check that one out.
I'll look into it.
We'll check that one out.
I don't like things that are too over the top and gory, and I like shit to play with my mind more than for me to see it. But I'll check into that for sure.
Yeah, this movie definitely played with my mind. Like I said, it triggered some and it sounds weird to people, but it triggered some childhood, some things that went on in my childhood, and not too many movies have ever done that. None of these folk horrors, nothing. It was just certain scenes. I think it was the feel and tone of the movie, but certain scenes that just took me right back to things that happened that I'm like going, this is a little too much, not for everybody because you haven't gone through the same thing, but it really did. So, but I still respect, the greatness of this movie. I thought it was fantastic, But let me end the show before I have to talk.
Better than our movie last week.
Yeah. Shit it.
See, I picked
Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man is fantastic. And let me end this with a story from my grandmother that she told me. And you know what? I came from a big family. I'm the oldest of 7. My grandmother had 13 kids, so there was always a kind of a close-knit years ago, not so much anymore. But my grandmother would always be the type, my grandma and grandpa, to sit and always tell stories. But my grandmother would always tell stories that, to this day, I believe most of what she said. She's not one to just spin yarn and tell lies, and stuff like that. But she was, I'll get that in a second, Marty. She had a sister, and they were in bed one night. Okay, they lived in this house that she swears was haunted. They heard things under the bed, all kinds of things, going on there. But one night at bedtime, she woke up. My grandmother woke up. Her eyes woke up, up, and she looked over to the other side of the room, next to her sister, and she saw what she says was the devil. She said he looked red, had the horns, had the furry, like, kind of horse kind of body to it with the hair. Again, it is what it is, but it is a story, and I'm relating it because I grew up listening to this over and over and over. And she goes, it was like, when she told me it, she's like, to this day, it was as plain as can be. It's like I wasn't dreaming, wasn't nothing, but I seen it, and he was hovered over her, and he looked up, and his eyes were black, looked up at her, and my grandmother said she just closed her eyes and tried to go, just keep her eyes closed. And when she opened them up again, he was gone. But she said she'll never forget that. And it was just a story, since we're talking about the devil.
I like how kids always close their eyes and try to make it go away. But yeah. I'd be halfway to Missoula.
Yeah, I'd probably be jumping out of bed too, man.
I wouldn't even have a clean pair of underwear with me.
I'd be hitting the door, that's for damn sure. But yeah, no, so many stories she had that she told me like that. But
see, I would always envision the devil just being the most beautiful person, the most charismatic person. Because that's how you get. Yeah,
you would think, unless
because that's what Lucifer was. It was
unless they're caught off guard in their true form. You know what I mean?
His true form is an angel.
Well, true.
It was the most beautiful thing you could imagine. God's favorite of all of them.
Yes, if we get down to brass tacks,
the most beautiful thing you can imagine.
Right, fallen angel.
That's right.
But Marty from the Trash Picture Show says a field in England is the apocalypse. Now had a baby, altered states, and was set in 17th century England.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll check it out.
I'll look at it because I did look in preparing for the show today. I did stumble across it. I was looking at some lists of, trying to see if there's some that I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Because a few of them are sneaking in here and there that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And before it used to just be the Holy Trinity, but we're getting more of them now.
Yeah.
Or the genre is broadening to include other films.
Yeah.
Some that I didn't really think. Okay, yeah, I guess it could be considered a folk horror type film.
Yeah.
So I will definitely look into that, and if I think it's something cool for the show, man, we'll do it.
Heck yeah, yeah. So there you go. That's our show for this week.
Such a damn good movie.
Kind of a newer movie, and not sure what we got on tap for next Tuesday. Again, if you're on iTunes, thanks for. We just about doubled listeners on our iTunes too, just because of all of the old time horror radio shows that
some people are liking those.
It's unbelievable how much it's gone. So everybody listening on iTunes, I appreciate it. Leave us some feedback. We also do this live on YouTube every Tuesday night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah. Check out all the links below, all that good stuff. We are about to head over to Patreon and talk some more folk horror. Ted's got some goodies over there.
Brought some of my collection with me.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the good ones.
So in about...
Some of the ones that you can't buy no more.
In about 5-10 minutes, we'll be over there live on Patreon.
Like a suicide.
Doing our thing. So with that said, thanks to everybody who showed up in the chat. Appreciate